gentlemen, welcome back to season 3 of the Jewel Exchange with Spit Gems. Today's guest is an old friend, one of the greatest MCs to come out of the barren wastelands of East New York, my brother, AG the Coroner. Well deserved, brother, and only the truth, man. What is the good word, my G?
The good word is life, man. That's always the first and foremost. The good word and the best word is life. Life and love, man.
Indeed, man, indeed. Yo, with no time wasting, man, because I know, first of all, let me say I appreciate you taking the time, you know what I'm saying, especially on a Sunday morning to do this, man. Thank you for that.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
No doubt, no doubt. Right off the top, man, break down the name to us. AG the Coroner.
AG. So the AG comes from my original name was Agony. So niggas got tired of calling me that. I used to always, all my spits, all my raps was about painful shit. So the agony stuck. But they cut that short to AG. And the coroner came as part of a job that I was doing at the time at the hospital that I was working at, and also through J Love. J Love was like, "Yo, every time you get on these joints, I feel like you the cause of death." So we just called coroner, and it became a thing in the lab, and they just stuck those together, man.
Fire. Shout out to J Love, man.
Word, shout to J Love.
Indeed. Indeed. So to delve into this a little further, this coroner, this job that you had, was you actually working in like a coroner's office or in a coroner's environment?
I was assisting from time to time inside the morgue in the emergency room of the hospital. I had a homeboy who actually was from the east who was working in there at the time. And he was like, "Yo, let me show you a few things. You can come in here and help me out and shit." But I was responsible for basically delivering the bodies. So that was the main. And
Wow.
then I was learning things here and there through him. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. How would you say that's crazy right there? How would you say that this position, being around this environment, how would you say that affected, like you said, you already prone to write about pain and hardship and obviously death. How would you say that the job affected your writing?
It kept me in an extreme, humble and grounded place. Seeing death every day is surreal. We know, we know it's there because it happens every day, every second. We don't stare it in the face. Everyone else is staring in the face every day.
Right.
Um, where we come from, beg to differ during a certain period of time.
Right.
But it just kept me grounded, man, and very appreciative of everything. So that shit just it kind of never let me go delve into nothing too off course when it came to writing music, and it kept the realness in me, man. So I appreciate that time and that experience.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you for that. I remember one time, I forget where we were. Um, Maybe we were in a studio somewhere or we were at a show somewhere or something, but we were having a conversation and I don't even remember how it came up. But you had mentioned something to me. You said it's like when the skin comes off of a body, it's called slippage. And I think you were referring to when a body is like decomposing in water for too long or sitting in liquid for too long or something like that. And I just remember that always stuck with me, son, that conversation. You know what I mean? Because it reminds you greatly of your mortality. You know what I mean? And how the body can be broken down. That that was a vision, man. That was certainly a visual that you gave during that conversation, man. So my point with all of that is it also expanded your mind in that sense, right? You learned a lot about mortality, about the human body, about how frail we actually are. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, man, about how this vessel is just skin and bones, blood, organs, and what really matters is the spirit and the soul, man. That's the only real thing that's forever. I mean, because this shit is temporary.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, going back to, as you said, coming from where we come from, the places that we've lived, namely East New York, a place that has undoubtedly changed a little bit throughout the years, but not very much in terms of being a place that produces a lot of unwarranted and unnecessary death, something that you grow accustomed to seeing as a child and growing up as a man living out there. It's ever present. Would you say that this environment is solely responsible for the motivation of your style?
Mm, I would say maybe 80, 85% of it, because everything wasn't everything wasn't geared towards the painful side. We had home lives too. We had families, and the things that they instilled in us, and coming up in the crib, being around the OGs, all the positive shit. You soak that in too. Just unfortunately, there was more negative than positive at the time. But I think because of that reason alone, we tended to gravitate or hold the positive times tighter than the average person would, because we didn't really get that too much. So it was 85% positive for me, 15%, no, 85% negative, 15% positive. But it was both of those things. I wish it was more of an even balance, but at least the positive part played a role too in my mind development, and what I decided to scribe down on paper at times.
What would you say, if I could build on that just a little more? What would you say? And I like to ask this question, especially about people who come from neighborhoods like this, not just this neighborhood, but similar neighborhoods. What are some of the positive things that you can remember about this neighborhood, about East New York?
I remember, I mean, it kind of changes as we go along, as we age. As a young child, I remember unity, family, whether it was inside the house or the collective or the entire block. Um, Outside, playing in the Johnny Pump, the ice cream trucks, just a lot of kids, man, running back and forth, and you don't, you're not really perceptive to what's going on around you at the time. You don't notice the way you would, because you're not developed completely, so you don't understand really what's going on. So you take whatever's going on, man, whether it's negative or positive, and you turn it into a positive. We were really oblivious as kids, so you just walk around laughing and smiling, playing with rocks, jumping on mattresses, and all kinds of shit like that. But it was
Indeed.
really community and unity, man, even amongst the so-called gangsters and hustlers of the streets, the killers. Like, everybody had a good day at times, man. Some of my best friends were the worst killers in the world, but and I seen the good side of them. A lot of people won't think that people like that have that, but it's real, man. Like, my best friend was one of the worst at the time. A brother named Puzzle. God bless his soul. But during the day he was in the park shooting hoops with me, on the block, trading baseball cards, all this shit. And at night, he was outside letting it off and laying people down. But it was that mix, man. But the positive things stick with you too, man. Thank God, because I think if we didn't have that mindset to gravitate towards those things, a lot of us wouldn't be here today. And a lot of us aren't. We all couldn't soak in those positive moments. But
Indeed.
thankfully, obviously brothers like me and you did, because I don't think we'd have made it this far, man, if we didn't.
Undoubtedly, and I always like to give the credit to, not credit in that sense. I think that's maybe a morbid way to put it, but there are, undoubtedly, I was a bit of a menace in my younger days, but I also understand that there's levels, and I always had a certain intellect, a certain brightness to me that and I had it, I had it difficult in my home situation and in the neighborhood and all that as well. But as I say, there are levels, and some of these brothers that were really, really out there who had less family maybe, or who had um more of a dimness in their heart for whatever reason, carried the cross in many ways for people like me. And I always like to mention that, because it could have been much worse for me had I not had these examples of the people, that were really, really at the bottom of hell's pit. You know what I'm saying? And the things that they went through are the motivating factors that made me wanna reach for more. You know what I'm saying? And maybe do a little better in my life. You know what I mean?
That's a great analogy, man. Exactly. There were so many sacrificial lambs around us, and those brothers, some here, some not, are the reason, a big reason why we, brothers like us are both here today, being able to
Absolutely.
have these conversations and build on it and pass these messages on, man. So shit. God bless and thank God, man.
Yeah, God bless and rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to everyone we have lost. Indeed. On a brighter note, man, on a brighter note, I wanted to get into a bit of your history. Two-part question, I guess, or two-part subject matter. We'll start with the outdoorsman. Break this down to me, because the outdoorsman is, when I came back into I was released from a situation and I was back in the world around 2007. And then, around this time, 2008, I'm starting to see just a crazy buzz coming from this clique, from the outdoorsmen. You know what I mean? And at the time, it feels like an absolute renaissance. You know what I'm saying? It feels like one of the main factors, one of the main cliques that was like, yo, New York is not only back, but here to stay and never left type shit. You know what I mean? And I think just a blending of so many, different boroughs, Queens, Brooklyn, and then different styles, but all in the same vein. Just incredible and super inspiring to a brother such as myself. You know what I mean? At that time. Talk to me about that.
Outdoorsman. I kind of slipped up and just ran into that situation, man. Me and Jay Love, we old high school friends and shit. I can't really say friends, affiliates. We didn't speak to each other much other than a peace, keep it moving. But I had no idea what he had moved on to become after school. And through a mutual friend at the time, he told me about him. He's like, you remember Jason from school? He's Jay Love now. He's doing mixtapes. He's working with some of the most prominent artists, of our time. And I kept running into Jay. God rest his soul. My man Mike Beck and Bill Blass, or Bill Blass mainly,
Rest in peace.
telling Jay, yo, my man gets busy. He didn't know he was referring to me though. And at some point he found out it was me. And every time we would run into each other, he hit me with the, yo, what's good, man? Like, this is what I do. You ready to go? And at the time I wasn't that confident with what I was doing. And I didn't know if I wanted to do that. So I kept rejecting him, but respectfully. Like, nah, I'm good, I'm good. And then finally one time, man, the last time I ran into him at a carnival in Queens, he asked me again. And I'm like, all right, let me entertain this. But I still didn't move on it. And then I, I made friends with another dude who was an MC at the time. He's like, yo, I do music with this dude. I want to introduce you to him. Happens to be Jay. I don't know. We both didn't know we was gonna meet up with each other that time. So it was like fate when that happened. So now I'm like, nah, I definitely got to do this now. So me and Jay Link, he already had the Outdoorsman crew at the time, but I don't think it was a collective of just MCs. It was just niggas in the street, childhood friends, like niggas who grew up together, and low life niggas. So it just happened like that. I came in on the last, I think they were recording the last track for a CD called Last of a Dying Breed. And at that time, it was Jay, Animal, Science, uh, Killer Shy, rest in peace. Who am I missing? There was a kid named Mercy, Jay Steele, and it was all Premier beats, mixtape. And Bronson, I think, was rapping at the time, but he wasn't taken seriously. And me and him got on our first joints at the same time. And it was the last joint. It was the last joint on the mixtape. And I remember him coming to the lab. I laid something down. He laid his verse down, and from then on, the Outdoorsman just kind of became this, I guess, mirror of Wu-Tang, what we wanted it to be, this new version of the Wu. And it just took off from there, man. Everybody had a genuine love for what we were doing. And we were having fun with it, which was the most important thing. So it was a chemistry there. I think it was 8 or 9 of us all together. And yeah, man, shit just took off from there. And then from there, the Queens connections. I think all of them was from Queens except for me. And that shit was a
Yeah,
time,
right.
man.
Essentially, yeah.
That shit
Essentially,
was
right.
it was a time. It was a great time to I guess get my feet wet in the studio, and through situations like that, I ran into brothers like you in that space because I already knew Ames and Six and the
Indeed.
cousin.
Fatal Fountain.
Yeah, so they put me on to who I knew as Era, and transferred
Indeed.
into Spit Gems, man. But having
Yo,
you around at the time and with your skill level and the brothers on that side starving being on, like, y'all swords are super sharp, man. So y'all kept us sharp. Y'all definitely have kept us sharp.
I appreciate that, man, greatly. Indeed, indeed. And yo, I want to say, man, the thing that was so great about an Outdoorsman to me was that everybody had a super identifiable personality within that clique. You know what I mean? A very unique personality, but it all blended together so well every time y'all got together on tracks. You know what I mean? It was like every verse you were getting, you know how on some tracks you'll get, there'll be 5 people on a song, and then you'll get that one verse from that one person where you like, yo, that shit, that verse right there. When y'all got together, it was that verse times 5, you know what I mean, or times 6. So it was just that premiere moment over and over again, and that was incredibly strong, man. And let me just boomerang that right back to you. The motivation we got from that, you know what I'm saying? As whether it was, Broken Home or what we were doing over at a certain studio at one point, we had a collective as well, you know what I'm saying? And the motivation was, it was 100. It was like, yo, this is, not competition in the sense of like, yo, it was just like, just adding on, like, yo, look what they're doing for New York. You know what I'm saying? They're making me proud to be from New York again. You know what I'm saying? Like that at a certain time, and this is no mystery. New York has some dry spots with what artists are out there on the forefront, and when the spitters are really in the building. You know what I'm saying? There's been some moments where it's been a little shaky. That time, that outdoorsman time, is undoubtedly one of those moments where you set a fire to the city. You know what I'm saying? And everybody felt that, man. Everybody. So hats off to that, brother, and thank you for that. Word up, man.
You're welcome, man. That was amazing, brother. It was fun, man. And it didn't feel like when we all actually got around y'all brothers, it didn't feel like two separate entities to me. It felt like one collective, So,
Indeed.
so
And
to
that
build
came
on what you
natural too,
said,
might I
man.
say.
Yeah, and shit like that for everybody to just be on the same page. That's very rare, man, because it wasn't manufactured. So
Exactly.
it felt like a lightning strike. I'm saying like shit was meant to be.
Indeed. Indeed, man.
Yeah.
Some incredible music came out of that era, undoubtedly, man. And that's one of my favorite New York eras forever. Yo, let's talk about now. Here's the second part to the question. Narcotext. This is something I need to be further educated on. I know a little bit of the history, but dare I say I don't know enough of the history of Narcotext. But I believe this is another collective conglomerate, might I say, of incredibly talented individuals. Break this down for us.
Narchitects is a collective started by my brother Dax Empire. who used to go by Dax Medina.
Right.
So Dax always been a stand-up dude, man. Half Mexican, half Puerto Rican. Grew up some of his childhood in Texas, and came to Brooklyn after. But his cousin was part of a collective that also came out of East New York called Tomorrow's Weapons. T Weapons, my man Arc Medina. Um, they started that shit together. They had a homie named Dozer the drum dealer, who was the producer. He produces everything for the Narchitects.
Shout out to Dozer.
He's amazing, man. With they put me on to him, and and them beats just touched me in a different way, man. No Diddy. Um, but Dax always wanted to bring me into the fold of that, and I was a little hesitant at first after the outdoor situation not really working out. So I just kind of eased into it. I became like an honorary member, and then at some point it was just like, nah, I'm part of this, man. But all Latino MCs, not purposely, but we do have affiliates like K-Song Skrilla, my man SD, who's locked up right now. Hopefully he'll be home soon. Long Island SD. Playboy Berg out of Bushwick. So this Narchitects thing is really, I feel like this is a new life and a new book. It's been opening, man, and the music is incredible. I can't wait for the public to hear. We on album number 4 right now. I came in around album number 2. And the shit we've been making lately is just amazing, man. And I feel like it's gonna resonate with that same crowd that Outdoorsman supported, man. So can't wait to get it out there. But that's basically the Narchitect history, man. Just Dax, Arc Medina, Dozer, myself, K-Song, SD, Berg.
That's incredible, man. Thank you for that. Yo, big shout out to T Weapons, Tomorrow's Weapons. That was something that's an East New York jewel right there. You know what I mean?
That's a
Just
fact.
East New York royalty when it comes to hip hop, undoubtedly, man. They did a lot, and they made it. What T Weapons did, I feel, especially for somebody like me, is they made it seem possible. You know what I'm saying? The moves that they were
Exactly.
making to come from this place, they made it seem like, yo, this is possible. You know what I'm saying? There's not only space, but there's a demand. You know what I mean? And yo, just hats off to them brothers for real, man. They did a whole lot, man, for real.
I saw them brothers go from performing at house parties, 2 turntables and a mic, to traveling the world and having fucking international hits with Pitbull
Indeed.
and then being on MTV and all that. So that was a
Yeah.
crazy time, man.
Being
Like you
on
said, exactly.
Telemundo and Univision and all
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy shit, man. Like,
We hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen that coming from where we come from.
right.
East New York had not seen no shit like that. We had the locals and the super fire locals, but we ain't seen nobody boom take off like that, man.
Right. It used to be, it was at one point it was like J. Rue the Damager type shit. Like, it was J. Rue and Master Killer is who I used to feel like were like the main two, the only two, which is not true. Obviously there's a slew of MCs that come from the East, but not, you got AZ as well, you know what I mean? But just to see it reach beyond what some might say is commercial or mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Is just an amazing thing because of how dire that neighborhood is and how hopeless it could seem at times. You know what I mean? It seems like nobody's getting out. You know what I mean? And being removed from that neighborhood now for about 7 years, I haven't lived out there now. Um, I'm out here in the desert. I'm in Arizona, and looking back, it's true. Not many people get to make it out of that neighborhood, whether through success or whether through just maturity and understanding that they should strive for more. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to all the brothers who have made it out and who have made it seem possible that success can come from that neighborhood. That's
For real,
huge to
for
me,
real.
man.
And shouts to
Indeed.
the brothers. Shouts to the ones who are still there and probably gonna be there forever, but they make it work, man. Because navigating that
Survivors
is not it's very difficult.
is very difficult. And it's very saddening as well to see I think, you know, lack of information is mostly what I think we suffer from, you know what I'm saying, in that area of Brooklyn. Uh, because I can recall at times not feeling the need or the want to ever leave the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I remember how that feels. You know, you
Listen,
become
man,
so
I
used
had to
to it.
be I had to be dragged out of there, bro. My first time stepping away from it, I had to be dragged out, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. It becomes a morbid euphoria of sorts. You know what I'm saying? A utopia. I mean, a morbid utopia, should I say? God bless East New York, man, and I pray for everybody out there, and I do hope that everyone can either make it out, or if you choose not to make it out, make it a better place for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Do the work
Yes, yes.
necessary to make it a better place. Thank you for that, AG. Moving along, man. I wanted to mention Man Bites Dog Records. This is a power move you made. I believe this was 2012 or 13. I could be wrong about that date.
About 13, I think 13.
13.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about Man Bites Dog.
So the CEO of the label, it's an independent label based out of Virginia. The CEO RL came down to a showcase in South by Southwest. Me and Meyhem Lauren happened to be on a bill. I think we were opening up for Roc Marciano at the time, and I don't know if Roc was working with the label at the time. Eventually, he was granted a position there, but RL saw a performance, and I guess he just gravitated towards me. And I felt something in the air that day. It was funny too. Right after the performance, we spoke for a little while. He told me about a situation. In my mind, I'm like, I feel like this dude's gonna reach out, and he reached out to me through Roc. He ended up giving Roc a position as vice president of the label, and Roc made it his business to make me his first signing.
Amazing.
Um, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised at the same time because I felt it. I felt like it was coming, and I got that call one day. He's like, "Yo, man, I got the situation. I want to sign you. It could be a one-off. It could be a multiple project deal, whatever you want to do." Me being, protective of myself at all times, I said, "Nah, I'll do a one-off. Let's start with that." He was like, "All right, no problem." They gave me whatever I wanted, complete control of the project, 100% creative control. When I wanted to put the project out, who I wanted as features and producers, and I was like, I can't argue with that, man. For the first go round, and shit, it was a 50-50 split. Could have asked for more than that at the time, man. So I just took that opportunity, and it took me about 3 years to get that project out. But I was happy with the final result, man. We always look back and see our little imperfections here and there and things you
We
might
did.
want to change in retrospect. But I'm still happy with that project. It was
This
my
is Crushed Grapes,
first time.
correct?
Crushed Grapes was already out, or was coming out at the time that we did the deal. But I was like, all right, y'all put the label logo on this.
So Sip the Nectar is actually the
Something that is
project.
actually the project Crushed Grapes. I asked them to just throw the logo on it so we could prepare for
Start building.
so people start knowing what that logo looks like for the next project. So some unison. But yeah, man, that was my first child. I say, Crushed Grapes was more of a fun mixtape kind of thing that got done. What, 3 days we recorded the whole thing.
Right.
I remember when you came in
Yeah, I was
to
blessed to
that
be a
session.
part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. That what you added to that cipher was incredible, man.
Shout
And
out to Realm Reality. Shout out to Nez. Shout out
right,
to Nuts. So that was a fucking fun session, man. That was a real fun time.
them rapping in the closets, man.
No
No
doubt.
studio. It's a great time, man. Shit, I'm thankful, man. Thankful for both
But
projects and
yo,
the love that they still get.
Sip the Nectar though. Just star-studded, man. Just an incredible project and an incredible list of features and production. What would you say is your, you consider this your baby. What would you say is your favorite song off that project? If you have one. I know this can be difficult.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Shit, man. I might have to say the Game Changer, man, which sets off the album, produced by Static Selector. Uh, just because it set the tone,
No
and
doubt.
it was purposely the first joint that I wanted to do off the album, and the energy that I came with on that, and just what I had to say was like, "This is me. I'm here, and I won't be going nowhere, and this is my impact, man." So it was that first scream. I'm saying that first Tarzan yell in the
No
jungle.
doubt.
So
No doubt.
definitely
That's a
the
hard
game
joint.
changer.
That's a dope joint. My personal favorite joint is Park Ave. That's a tough joint. That's you you rock in action, correct?
Yes, yeah. That was I think the second. We did the second single. Might have been the second single off the shit. I think My Truth was the first single. But that's another joint, man. I don't I kind of keep that separate from the rest of. I would have normally said My Truth was my favorite off the joint, but I kind of keep that as its own entity,
Special to you in a different
away
way.
from. Yeah, that's you know what that is, man. That's a page in a book.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know.
joints we call the bleed out joints, man.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
when it's really coming directly from the source of the heart and the pain, you know what I mean?
I don't even consider that like a song. I don't even call it a song, man. It's just a sermon. I'm just talking. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that. So, I mean, I want to ask you what's next, but you already kind of answered that question with the Narchitects album. This is the fourth installment, you said.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Indeed. So, talk to us about who else is on the project. Who's prominent on this fourth installment?
this is really just all architects, man. I got my man Willie Bless, used to be known as Willie Hex. He's a founding and former member of the Tan Boys, Bodega Babs, from Uptown. Shout out to them. Other than him, I think we got my man Equan, EQ from the East. He don't like to go by that name anymore, but that's what people know him as. So,
No doubt.
and I think that's it, man. Architects really doesn't. If it happens organically, they'll put some features on, but other than that, we just kind of keep it in house.
Self-contained.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes when it's all there, the features are not necessary. When you have everything you need to build the building, you know what I
and
mean?
it's a little tougher. You got four MCs already, and most of them are rocking on every joint. And, one feature adds a fifth MC, and now the song might be too stretched out. Or this might be
Right.
dragging on too long. So, but like I said, both those features happen organically. These brothers that just happen to come to the lab that day, joints playing, like, yo, what's up? You got something for this? And it's usually how it works these days, man.
Those are the best records, man. Those are undoubtedly the best records. Just from doing this for many years, and sometimes a sent in verse or a requested feature, it turns out great. You know what I mean? But undoubtedly, the secret sauce is when the MCs are present in the same room. Nothing will ever be able to compare to that. Undoubtedly.
That's a
Who,
fact.
who's that? Who's that?
Oh, this is Cleo, man. Yeah, that's
That's
my
what's up, man. That's what's up. So, yo, before we get out of here, though, right? I want to hold you too long, man. One more question about what's coming next, and then leave us with a few things. But are we getting another solo AG the Coroner project? Are we getting a full length AG the Coroner album?
yes, that's most definitely. I'm gonna try to save that for the summer after we knock out, the next Narchitect project. After number four drops, I'm gonna let that rock for a little while, and then boom, like a month or two after that, come with my solo joint, man. This one is even more special to me than the first one because it's the first time I'm finding my voice again since that first joint. So I'll step back for a minute, live some life.
The
Um,
finer things,
yeah,
family, love.
really needed to refine myself and and just grow, man. Grow as
Indeed.
an individual, see new things, and have something to talk about. I mean, but
Indeed.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. So we got the Narchitects coming up, then it'll be me, and there better be some surprises in between here and there. You know, recently I don't know, a lot of people been talking to me. I was out last night at an event, Smoking Beats, my man Lord Nez's project. I mean his event, and a lot of fans or comrades and were in the building, and they saw that recently me and Meyhem Lauren, we reconciled. He
Beautiful.
So it's one down, one to go. I haven't really spoke to Action yet, but me and May be working on some things. So
That's something that the people would absolutely be over the moon for. Not for nothing, man, because you brothers were absolutely incredible together, man. You know what I'm saying? So to
thank you,
hear some
brother.
new joints from y'all, forget about it.
Yeah, that was Big Buzz talk in the building last night, man. So everybody was like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?" Getting there, we saw y'all in the picture. I was like, "Yeah, y'all gonna get it, man.
That's what's
Y'all
up,
definitely
man.
getting
Shout
it."
out to May. Shout out to Action.
All right,
Hell yeah, man. Yo, before we go, leave the people with one jewel, brother. Something that they could use as a benefit navigating through this industry or through this field of art.
shit. As far as that, man, industry, field of art, and just life in general, man, just know that we have very little control or no control over what happens around us, only what we do. So no matter what happens around you, stick to your guns, man. Don't let nothing throw you off course. It's a
Indeed.
problem for many of us. It was a problem for me. I let the things that was happening around me affect my decisions, and it's not a way to live, man. So when it comes to anything in life, whether personal, business, industry shit, just stay the course. Don't let nothing knock you off. What's gonna happen is what's gonna happen, and you don't have any control of that. Only your own, actions and reactions. So stand your ground, man. 2 feet down.
That's certainly a jewel right there, brother. Yo, once again, AG, thank you for taking the time, man. And thank you for
Thank
this
you, brother.
incredible episode right here, man. We appreciate this greatly, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you for taking the time, man. And God bless to everything that's going on with you right now and that situation, getting out of here. And like I told you earlier, the family, man, y'all look beautiful, man, and happy. And I'm so happy to see that,
Appreciate
bro.
that, brother. Appreciate that, man. Thank
And
you. Thank you
and
for that.
and and I could talk to you forever, bro, because just
Likewise.
so if we got part two in the future, man, let me know, man. I'm here, man.
Indeed, man. Whenever you want, we'll run it back. 100. Thank you, though,
Definitely,
brother.
man. Thank you, Gems.
Enjoy your day, man.
My brother. Likewise, man. God bless.
The grass is low, snakes keep slithering. Watch your business when you dealing with the middlemen. It ain't about the money, then I don't even consider them. I used to have dreams about rapping next to Eminem. Now they checking for me, hope they got a check for me. A new crib in the burbs, my mother next to me. Pops want a new caddy, bless him with his wish. My new lady's a blessing, the last one was a bitch. I'm the same nigga you met, don't worry about a switch. The money made me better, but it caused a little glitch. Always a problem when you get a little rich. They clocking from the side of their eyes, counting your shit. Friends move further and further. Same niggas that went half on a White Castle